Migas! And we are, in a sense, recording live-ish because we're recording on a Monday. We tired, but we're doing it. It was a busy weekend and a socializing weekend. I know you want me to start with my matcha tea.
Yes, go right ahead.
But you start with yours because I know you have some stuff. I mean, look at your face.
Oh, yeah. So I got my brows done. Ooh. I went to Browdy Beauty Studio.
I can't.
Love her.
The name,
right?
Browdy Brows.
Right.
I love it.
And I went there.
Where's she located?
She's in Paramus.
Okay.
Such a beautiful studio space. I've been to other salon studio spaces and they're on a smaller scale. This one's there's so many. When you first walk in, it's a whole TV and it has so many different studios. So
love it.
Her little studio space, so cute. She's so professional. She spent a long time shaping my brows to make sure that they are related, but not sisters.
The time frame, from start to finish?
I got there at 10:30, but also we were just chatting. And I was her model. So we had to go through things. We had to go through shape and everything. So I left around 1:30.
Okay.
But I have a lot of eyebrow hair. I have a lot of hair.
Yes.
So that in turn was harder because it was what can I
work with?
Yeah, and not remove too much or to make sure that there's a shape and stuff. So it was the shaping process that took a lot, but the actual process was not even that long. It was maybe 30, 45 minutes.
And what was because you said it's the shading, brow shading, or what was the actual
powder?
There
yeah, so it's still the tattooing. It's still that. It's still the microblading or whatever.
So you felt she did it with a little blade, right?
Yeah, okay. No, she did it with the tattoo gun.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, so it was that. Sorry, I'm I don't know what the heck is it.
I'm if you're watching us on the two,
I didn't put mascara on, so I can actually.
Oh.
I can actually rub my
rub
eye.
Rub it.
So that's my first ever cosmetic thing I've ever done. So it's great. I love it. I love it so much.
Look so good. I'm obsessed with the shape.
Right? I'm I went to see my mom yesterday and she's like, your eyebrows. And I was like, I know.
I heard, I don't know what the term is back in the day. They're the windows of the face or something like that. I don't know.
There you go.
I guess when you see a house and its windows, I guess that's the brows.
If
that makes any sense.
So there's that. And then I'm going to do my lip blushing next month.
Okay.
So I'm actually going to be her model there too. So for the lip blushing, it's just to enhance your natural color. Because I think as you get older, your color kind of,
fade, yeah.
So I'm still kind of working on what color. She thinks that a peachy color would be nice on me. And I'm maybe a rosy mauve color. I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out. But she's a professional. So I'm you could do whatever you want.
You tell me what
exactly. I need. And then what else?
The closets.
Yes. So I removed the bench for Alina's closet. And now I actually put the wallpaper. I already put the closet system. I just have to configure it a little bit and it should be done by today. So I have some stuff I need to finish at work and then we're going to work on that. And then yesterday was my dad's birthday.
It was? Yes. Oh my God. He's the St. Patrick's baby? Yes. Look at that. That's why I was that's a special man. He's even more special. Yeah. I'll talk about why St. Patrick's is it's important to me.
So you want to hear something so crazy? It's so random too. My dad was actually born breech. And in my culture, they say that breech babies, when they're, and remember back in the day, there was no
C-section,
nothing. And they were all born in the house.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So my grandma on my dad's side had him feet first.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So she could have died, but so she had feet first. Yeah. And she, what's it called? They say that whenever a breech baby is born and they make it or whatever, that whenever you have an illness or something, they just like kind of put their feet on you, and then that helps make it go away.
Oh shit! Have you tried it?
No, because I'm like, Dad, keep your feet to yourself.
You should try.
Right? I'm like, Dad, my head hurts.
Put your feet on my head.
But that's
what
I've
never heard
what
of
they
that.
say. Yeah, and I'm like, that's so funny. I'm like, but another fun fact: all 3 of my kids were breech.
Look at that.
Well, I had them C-section, obviously, but all 3 were.
So
breech.
just put everybody's feet.
Yeah, right. I mean, like, Ollie, my head hurts. But yeah, I didn't know Alina was until I went in to go with Zoe, and the doctor was like, "Oh my God, this is the 3rd one that's breech." He's like, "It's just how your uterus is," and I was like, "What do you mean?" And he's like,
"Is it backwards?"
It is. I have an inverted. It's inverted. So
wait, what do you mean though?
I have an inverted cervix. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Because I was like,
I
was already picturing the whole
on my back.
No, the whole fallopian tubes like being on the bottom instead of the top.
Do you want to hear something so funny? When I first found out that I had an inverted cervix, the guy, because he was like covering for the doctor, I was like, "What does that mean?" He goes, "That when you get pregnant, it's gonna come out like it's gonna be from your back." And I'm like. I was like, "You're so fucking dumb." I was like, "You're so stupid."
Was that supposed to be a dad joke?
It was such a dad and doctor joke. I was like, "You're so stupid." But anyways,
that's hilarious.
So I have an inverted cervix, and I don't know if that plays some type of thing. But yeah, all 3.
Wow.
All 3, and they just get cozy. They don't want to move. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, cut me open and take them out. But yeah.
That reminds me of Jane the Virgin, where she had to, I didn't even know like all the, I guess like the using gravity to turn the baby, because remember they were telling her that her baby was gonna be breech. And she was there doing a fucking bear crawling and stuff in the living room, and her mom was trying to have a serious conversation. I'm finally watching Jane the Virgin, guys.
Yes,
my sister and Nora put me on.
I have to rewatch it. It's been so long. And you know what it is? It's supposed to be in Miami, but they're filming in LA, and it's so annoying. Because you know because if you ever notice the palm trees,
the trees
in Miami,
are different, than the Cali ones.
Yeah, the Cali ones are like tall and skinny, I'm like, don't lie to us. We know.
Now I'm gonna have to pay attention to. I haven't even been paying attention to.
Oh yeah, I mean, just in general, like everything about there does not scream Miami at all, which is stupid because I'm like, you guys should have just filmed in freaking Miami.
Well, I'm sure that probably that'll be a logistical nightmare. I'm sure too.
I mean, they've had Dexter. They filmed Dexter in Miami.
But like the whole entire season?
Yeah, the whole series.
Oh, okay.
And then it's so funny. Graceland is supposed to be in LA, but they filmed it in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
Because I'm like, that looks weird. And then I Google everything. Like, where was this filmed? Why does it look like this? There's a few shows. Well, Burn Notice, all Miami, because it's a Miami show. That was in Miami. Yeah, I'm like, no, this is all excuses. All excuses, Jane. All of it. All of it. Every single one of it. My eyeballs are like fucking on fire. I don't
understand. You need me to blow on them?
No, I'm good. I'm like, yeah, but that's pretty much it. So I'm still working on the closet, which I'm so excited about. And now Oliver won't leave me alone. He wants me to turn his closet into a desk. So that's going to be probably next week's project.
Okay.
Because he's been into his drawing phase, and that's all he wants to do is draw. So
I'm
he wants to draw and play Legos. So
I'm excited to see it all come together. I'm gonna take a sneak peek later, so you got to show me the process.
Yes,
I want to see it live. I want to see it live.
Yep. But yeah, that's it.
That's your tea. That's your matcha tea.
That's my matcha tea for me.
I love it. Well, feliz cumpleaños to your father. That's amazing.
You. My Baba. Oh, we got Indian food for him yesterday and bought our favorite cake. So if you have a Paris baguette next to you guys, the strawberry cream cake is amazing.
They are pricey.
Yeah.
Like,
it was $45 for this fucking
cake. That's what I was like. Because I remember we were trying to get one, and I was like, nah, we're going to shop, right? Like,
so we always get it. Always. And I sent my sister, I don't know why, I was like, oh, maybe it's $25. So I said, she sends me a message, she was like, ma'am, it is $45. And I'm like, and then my dad, of course, wants Indian food. And now Indian food can get super pricey. Mm-hmm. And I'm like,
happy birthday.
Seriously, I told my sister was like, oh, what are we gonna get? I was like, we could just give him cash. And she's like, okay, I'll just give him the thing and I won't pay you back. And I was like, that's fine. I was like, you give him my half because this is crazy. I was like, y'all expensive.
That was all the cake consumed?
Yeah.
Okay, I was about to say.
Yeah, it was
because that's like the worst.
It was a decent amount of us there. So my sister, my cousin, my sister, her boyfriend, mom and dad, me, Berto, and the kids, and then of course Zoe had a piece, Alina had a piece, Oliver had some cake. So, well, King Oliver sat there and he was like, I want macaroni and cheese because he's not going to eat Indian food.
What did you guys get? Did you guys get the butter chicken?
So we got butter chicken, chicken curry, aloo gobi, lamb with spinach, and then I got the like a dosa bread. It has like potato and onion in it. It's really good. And then I got garlic naan and regular naan.
Nice.
That shit is pricey.
I bet.
But this place that we go to in Clifton is actually really, really good. But they don't have like the chutneys. Like I'm a condiment and like sauce kind of person. And I'm like, give me all the chutneys, especially like onion, like all that. I'm like, I don't care if my breath is hot. Like I want this to taste good. Like what the hell?
I'm trying to remember. I don't know if it was from Trader Joe's where they had the Samoas. That's Indian, right?
Yeah.
And then, but they have it like with this peach chutney.
Ooh.
I don't know. Again, this was like when I used to work in the city. So this was now almost going on fucking 10 years ago. So I don't know. Again, since Trader Joe's, I feel like they keep like their classics, but then they also
alternate,
switch up stuff. And obviously, some of their stuff is seasonal. But now I'm gonna have to go.
Well, their butter chicken and their chicken curry is really, really good, and their naan is good. So like
Trader Joe's,
yeah. So whenever
I had the butter chicken, and I like because it's not
as spicy.
It's tolerable because I remember one time we ordered, and I forgot where we ordered, and this was when we used to live in the house in Patterson, and we ordered from an Indian spot, and we ordered the butter chicken, and it smells so good, but it was too spicy where I couldn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, my spice level is like medium, or probably it's probably beginner level. Mine is like beginner level.
I just need mild now. Before I used to tolerate so much spice. Now after each pregnancy, I can't.
That's crazy.
I can't. So like whenever I get the I'm always like mild, or then if I call them, I'm like no spice. Nothing. I'm like, I can.
And it still comes.
And I'm like that. But the one at Trader Joe's is so good. Their butter chicken is so
I just wish I had like more food.
Yes.
I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, I'm like, I need to.
I don't want portion control. Right?
I need to eat up 2 of them in order for me to enjoy this. Yes. But I do get them often. Well, I haven't been to Trader Joe's in a minute, but like when I shop there, I'll just get so many, and I'm like, I just have it there because sometimes you're like, I don't know what to eat, and you're like, nah, butter chicken.
Trader Joe's to the rescue. No, but their freezer meals are
so good.
Are perfect for when you don't know what to make.
Yeah. What is your matcha tea, girl?
My matcha tea. I guess Friday. It was literally, like I said, this has been my get my health in check year. So literally, I felt like I was on the phone between like work meetings, our business meeting. It was like doctor phone calls, like back to back. It was just like nonstop calls. All day on Friday, and I felt like I finally got like a breather, maybe like at 1:00, or probably even no, because our call was ending at that. I'm lying. It was probably like around like 3:00, because then right after our call, then that's when all the doctors' phone calls started coming in, and different appointments I have to make and follow-ups. So I am looking forward to kind of being over this hump of, again, because I'm just seeing it right now as an inconvenience in the sense that I have to attend all these doctor's appointments, have to get a procedure done, this and that. And I'm just like, okay, once that's done. And then another thing too, I get the procedure done this Friday coming up, but I have to wait freaking 5 business days to get the freaking results. So I'm just okay, so by April, I should maybe by your birthday, I'll know, and hopefully it's all good news. But yes, amen. But now also, if you guys follow me on Instagram, you know that my weekends literally consist of taking Caleb to his gyms. And I decided to just consolidate all of that to a Saturday to have Sundays open for family time, trying to go to church with my mom on Sundays early. You know, we could walk the mountain, and also kind of like just leaving that day to kind of just like have slow mornings. It was always just like go. And I'm like, yo, I'm literally leaving my house every single morning, Monday through Sunday. I was like, let me have a day where I don't need to do that, or forced to do that, because again, having to take him to a class. So I literally have both of his gyms, and I'm also just got put on a wait list for a summer class. Wow. Swimming class. And I'm also like logistically trying to see how, like, it's like the one that we used to go to. It's in Cedar Grove. It's called Safe Splash. really great. But everything right now for Saturday is obviously waitlisted. So I'm gonna see if I call them at some point this week. But then I found another one near like both of his gyms that'll only be like 5-6 minutes in between instead of like 15 minutes to go back to Cedar Grove from Wayne.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to figure all that out so I could just jam pack his Saturdays. We're home maybe I think by like 2:00. Go take a little power nap and call it a day and just relax. And if we have like an event to go to on a Saturday evening, there'll be enough time for that. So it's like I'm just trying to get all the logistics in order. And also summer is coming. You know, I feel like there's more brunches and birthdays to attend. And all that jazz. So I am excited also that we get to see you guys and we get to see our friends like on Saturdays, especially for the kids, because like I don't know when's the last time that our kids saw each other.
Oh my God.
It definitely wasn't this year.
No, it was the October, the event we had.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, at Twinbrook.
That insane.
Yeah.
That was like 6 months ago.
Yeah, that was the last time they saw each other.
That's terrible. Yeah. No, we gotta do better. We gotta do better. Because
I'm like, we see each other all the time.
Right. And even the same thing like with like Jeffrey's kids, and now like we'll be able to see them as well. So, and then I bumped into a friend that you saw that's in also in his class.
Yes.
So it's just like I think Saturdays is where the parents are doing all the things with the kids, and not on the freaking Sunday. Sunday is more again like that sacred family time and all that jazz. So I'm looking forward now to our weekends. And then yesterday was St. Patrick's Day, so I'll speak a little bit on why St. Patrick's Day is always, I don't know, definitely feel like the luck of the Irish for sure. I mean, I've always loved like the Irish accent, like it's just so freaking awesome and so cool. And just like their culture, and then like even seeing everything now going on like with Palestine and their stand, like they were one of the first countries, you know, to stand with them, and again learning then why in their history that they were, you know, colonized themselves and they were able to become independent. So they themselves like firsthand know exactly what the Palestinian people are feeling. So just that I was just like, there we go. I always knew I loved this country, and now now I know even more why. But so I guess I'll talk about like the recent stuff. So we actually, our first home that we bought, and when we sold it, I was very adamant with our real estate agent that I was like, I need to have this house listed on St. Patrick's. Like, it's just, she was like, is there a specific reason why? Like, why are you so stressed and pressed about this date? And I'm like, it just needs to be that day. And it's also too like my parents, I think it's like their boyfriend and girlfriend anniversary. Aww. So they've been together. It's really on the 16th, but because it always again landed around celebrations of St. Patrick's, like I always went out with them to either, well, it was mostly like we do like Shannon Rose and Clifton. Yeah. I don't know, it was just like, always like a thing to just celebrate, and the time frame just always just felt so special. So, and then yesterday I was like, oh my God, wasn't even realizing when I RSVP'd for both of my best friends' grandmother's 100th freaking birthday.
God bless.
I was like, oh my God, it's on the 17th. What a freaking blessing. Her birthday's a couple days prior to that, but the fact that it was being celebrated yesterday, it was just beautiful. It was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful party event, and the place that they hosted it at, they've hosted so many milestone birthdays and celebrations there. Like that's where Emily had her sweet 16. You know, their parents' like 50th birthdays have been celebrated there. Grandma's 90th birthday was celebrated there 10 years ago. It was just all crazy. And even like your phrase yesterday was saying, she was like, we have so many pictures here. And I was like, well, we can't forget to take our group picture. Yeah. So it was just so nice. And it was also, I believe, Caleb's like first formal party like banquet style. Aww. And he looked so freaking cute.
He did.
He looked so cute in his little suit. I was gonna say sponsored by Target. No, I mean it was all bought at Target. That was all Cat and Jack, to include like the button-down shirt. The only thing is the shoes were, I think, Children's Place. But I was like, okay, Cat and Jack, like I need more suit sets like this because the material is very soft.
Nice. So it's comfortable for kids.
For childhood, and for him to like obviously even like to use the bathroom, it's easy to pull down, pull up. So I will definitely share the link for that through my LTK. I have to I think I have a picture of him. Not really. He was moving around so much. I'll probably just post a video of the zoo, and that's nice now.
LTK can do it.
An LTK feature is that you could just upload a video, which is not good. Sometimes like a picture doesn't do the outfit justice, and you can see the color and how like it moves or you move in the outfit. But other than that, I think that was pretty much it for my weekend. And now it's Monday. And again, this is why I feel tired because, again, the way that I was dancing yesterday, I felt, again, you're in these rooms and you forget what day it is. You forget what time it is. Like, we step outside, it was still daylight. Like, oh, crap. Where's my shade? So it kind of also brought me back to, like, our brunching days, especially, like, we used to go to those places that are so dark inside. Then when you step out, you're like, oh, it's only 3 o'clock. Where are my shades? Because the sun is hitting and I'm feeling a little buzzed. Because you think you're leaving a freaking nightclub because again the DJs pumping all that. Well, that was another thing too. The entertainment that they had yesterday was so nice. They had the mariachi band, which was beautiful, and I feel like it's just a classic thing to have. I think in the Latin culture for a birthday celebration. And then they had the saxophonist, which was so dope because, again, these ladies, I've been following them for a while. So it was cool to actually like experience them in person. Again, the first time that I saw them perform was, of course, at Carpaccio's. And then I was like, oh my God, and it's so cool because they're all women. So it's a women-owned business. So I was like, what a beautiful thing. Again, it's still being Women's History Month. And that helps us transition into our topic. So let's go, girl.
We are talking about women influential women in our lives.
Yes, like personally, that have touched us in some way, shape, or form. Whether that was literally one thing that they said, or just a lifetime of chapters. And advice and being there, or not even that, or just like things that they have accomplished. So, who are those people for you, or who is that person for you?
I'm still thinking, but I will say, one influential person for me and continues to be, is Mari.
Yes.
Mari is our late friend. That she. Honestly, like any room she went into, she either, first of all, any room she went into, she knew somebody, and just touched everybody. And she would, so she came from DR, came here. So she's not even first generation here, technically, because that would be her child. It would have been first generation.
No, she's the first.
She's born here. No, she's born here.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So she came. Well, anyway,
because I'm saying that's how I feel because I'm first generation. But I was born.
Yeah, exactly. Gotcha. So she came here. She excelled in school. Nothing ever stopped her. That's one thing about her. Like I remember, I met Mari working together at the bank, and we were both in retail banking. And whatever program she was going to be in it. Whatever that she was going to be in it, she was going to shoot. And she didn't do it in a way that, you could tell people want to get to the next levels. It was organic.
It was humble.
Very humble, organic. And when she asked the questions, it was the right questions, but she also never forgot where she was from.
Yes.
And we always had a running joke that I would be like, telling her about a specific thing, and she's like, Nora, I'm from Patterson. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, I don't know these brands. Like, what are you talking about? And she's like, you have to explain.
Right,
I'm like,
right.
Mari, you're so funny.
And that shows too, how humble she was, and that shows how she was raised.
Yeah,
I'm sure, with very limited, resources. I feel like the majority of us that brands just wasn't
a thing. Thing. One thing about her, and I always admired this about her, she was unapologetically herself, and always, every day was a fashion show for her. And it was just so funny because she would come to work and like we were working back office, so she didn't really need to dress up. She was like, oh, whatever, I'll just wear whatever. But if we had an event at night, it was like night and day. I'm like, what just happened? I was like, where? And she was like, no, just throw it together. And I'm like, no, I'm like, throw what together? Like, no. And she's like, yeah, just put this. She had an eye for fashion and a passion to travel. And she was just getting her blog up and running. And I remember having the conversation with her because she had the Social Butterfly. And I was like, you have to branch out on your own. You have to do your own thing. I'm like, just who is Mari? I'm like, and she's like, I don't even know what to name it. And I was like, just call it Mariposa Morel. I was like, we call you Mariposa.
Yeah.
And that's where the whole thing came from.
So nice.
I will always be grateful for having her in my life, and always like, because there would be days like I would literally sit there and like, I'm in my feelings and I'm like, what would Mari say? Or like, what would Mari do? You know what I mean?
I love that.
And she always told me, like, I have the book. She bought me the influencer book. And she was like, because you need to do some shit like that. And she ordered it for me, brought it to my house, and she's like, because you need to do some shit. You need to post your shit. And I'm like, I swear I know Mari's up there. And she's like, I told you not to fucking post.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
I'm gonna remind you to post it. Don't think about it, just post.
Yeah. But she always, every time I just kind of think about influence, people who've made a difference, she always is like number one for me. Like, even if, I would love if she was here, but like, even like that, like as my living friend, I was just like, I admire you so much for all that you do and how you are and how you carry yourself. Cause it's so easy to want to like morph into other people, but she was always unapologetically and always showed up.
Yes.
Different groups, but always showed up.
Right. She sure did.
Yeah.
She sure did.
Yeah. She was so great with the kids too. She bought Alina her first bathing suit. Aww. It was so funny. It was a 2-piece bathing suit. I was like, girl, what is this? She was like, let her rose go out. She's like, let my girl go. And she's like, that's my girl. Like every time. And because Alina was so white when she was born, she was like, that's me and Danny's kid.
Oh my God.
I'm like, first of all, no. Yeah. I was like, no. But yeah, she always would say Alina was hers. She's like, Alina's my kid. Because when I was pregnant, I was always with her. She's like, she's carrying my kid. I'm like, can you not say that? Because people are actually going to believe you.
Right. I'm like, that's how I feel with Zoe. Because I was like,
Zoe's mine.
Like, Mari, Alina's yours, Zoe's mine. And I was like, I don't know who Ali belongs to. He belongs to you.
He's mine. That's mine. No, he's Mabel's.
There you go.
I have no kids.
See, now you gotta go back to the factory and pop out another one. Let's go.
My factory is closed.
It could be reopened. Right? That can all be. Like, get me a robot real quick. Where's that AI shit? we need to build more babies.
I'm a baby machine, apparently. But yeah, that's for me. Like, from the top of my head, that's who I can think of. How about you?
I was gonna say, first of all, I love your nails. Let
me
see.
Thanks.
I was gonna get to see them. Love it. The flowers with the flores.
I wanted her to do different colors. I was like, can you do different shades of pink? And she didn't. And like, when you first look, I'm like, I can't even see it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because at first I was like, what is that?
Yeah, because the pink and the orange, I can't really see it, but it's okay. But I'm like,
it works. It's subtle. It's you.
It's like, can I get wild but not too wild? Undercover, exactly. Invisible wild.
Just for me.
Just for me, please.
I love it. Well, for me, I feel like I have a plethora of women, especially, you talking about Mari. Definitely, she's up there for sure. And again, like you said, she was a go-getter. Like, she set her mind to something, persistent. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and the girl got it done.
Yeah.
So she stood on business, 100%. That's so her. And again, that thing about also she was a girl's girl.
Yes.
She was showing up, again, encouraging others to be their best selves.
Yeah.
Not letting you be mediocre. Like, those are 100% influential women. So if you're hearing this and it's helping you think of who those women are in your life, because they ain't celebrities, I'm gonna tell you that shit. Some of them are dope, but again, the women that you actually like know in your life. Because again, we could say that we know these celebrities, but we don't know them.
Shit.
We don't really know them.
But you know what's crazy? You know what drives me nuts? Like, for example, they'll be like I'm gonna just pull a random out and be like, Kelly Rowland said, "Who the fuck is Kelly Rowland?" All right, but you have these women literally in your arsenal, on your team, like that have these.
I like the arsenal. Yeah, girl, we still on the battlefield.
We are. You know that they actually say these things, have these like amazing thoughts, or like, you know, ways of thinking, and like are the ones who flip the switch for you, like that light bulb that you needed. Like I don't need fucking home wrecking ass Ariana Grande to say two things and then be like, oh my god.
Again, because we don't know the celebrities, like their actual values and their morals.
Exactly.
Like our friends and family, like we know their morals and their values.
And here's a perfect example. Like, listen, no shade, but there's shade. But there's a little bit of shade to J-Lo. I love J-Lo. I do. I always have. She's an entertainer, and you're entertaining to me. Do I respect your hustle from what I could see? Like, yeah, you were on this what is that dance show or whatever? Like you
Dancing
were
with the Stars.
No, she was in the. It was a very, very old show. She was like a girl, like a dancing girl, whatever. I'm like, okay. You did that, and like, look, now you got Selena, then you got like, now you're a singer and the style, blah, blah. Great, that's amazing. That is a businesswoman 101. That's amazing,
right? But
now, the tone deafness of her, and like how she treats people, and how she's been known to treat people, like people have to sign like contracts, like you can't look at her, and the like the chauffeurs can't look at her, like this whole thing. Well, anyways. Now she did like a video to.
I mean, you're my go-to person to stay in touch with pop culture.
This is just TikTok. So TikTok University here.
TikTok culture.
So she apparently she has this like a video or something coming out, like so she could seem relatable, and she takes out her hair and she looks like a hot mess, which is, you know, very rare to see her, and she goes, I love leaving my hair out like this. It reminds me from when I was on the block. And I used to, like that, right? God. Right? And she was like,
cringe.
And then people have been stitching, and they're like, what block? What number? What streets were you on? Like, look, we need to know. Like, what? And then someone actually said, oh, was it the block that you went to middle school and high school, and when they called you to ask for donations so that they can make improvements, that you said no? Like that, like.
Yeah, because that's one thing about the internet. The receipts will be kept.
And I'm like, okay, so these are the people that, you know, they have a platform. They're shoved in our face nonstop. Right. And it's like, you know, Beyonce has 24 hours. I don't give a fuck how many hours Beyonce has in a day. Like, that one makes me
when that came out, I was like, that's cool. You're right. We all have the same 24 hours as Beyonce, but Beyonce has an assistant, a chef, a personal trainer, a child of somebody that takes care of her children. Of course. I mean, and mind you, there's women out here doing everything that Beyonce is doing without all of that. And those are the women that we should be shining a freaking light on.
Exactly. And to be honest, like when I see, like, I'm not saying you have to be like run down, sure, like I hustle, I work.
That's not a badge of honor.
No, like we ain't doing that no more. There's no fucking trophy for the most tired person. Like there is not. But these women that are out there putting in the work and living in their actual truth and showing, like, there are days I don't want to fucking do anything, and that's fine. Like, but I'm not seeking permission on how to act, or using their life as a blueprint for me to live my life. Right. And remember, the term is influence. They're influential. They're not, this is the right or wrong on how to live your life. Right. Like, I need to have XYZ to live like this exact person. Like, no, take bits and pieces. How are they influencing you? And it's amazing when you have somebody in your circle, the person that you see often, like you literally have one reach, and you could be like, hey, I could talk to you, or like, hey, like we could collab, we could talk, blah, blah, blah. That's influence.
100%.
Not, the fucking Kardashians or the fucking like the Hiltons and like all this stuff, like that's a whole nother space. Like that's nice to see that and see these businesses, but they tap the bank. They know.
Right. And again, they're only showing us, even though obviously as the Kardashians have been very vulnerable with their shows and what they share and all that stuff. So kudos to them for that. Because I know obviously like we really didn't have that in the past. Because now like again, it's just like sharing overload. Like we again, and maybe they do it authentically, maybe they do it inauthentically, where it's just like they know what to show, again, the drama to make it, you know, airtime, TV, whatever it is, for the views, the show, the numbers. But again, going back to like, there's women in our lives that are also that are doing that, and right here, right in our community. You know, we don't even need to leave the state of New Jersey. Like we're seeing them. And another thing for me, and especially like the women in my life that I've known for so many years, what's been beautiful for me to see is their consistent growth. Yeah. And they have had, you know, we're freaking humans. They have had many downfalls, but they don't sit there and become a victim to their downfalls. Yep. And that for me is who's influential for me. For instance, like I'll shout out Jafrazy, my friend Jen that I met at the bank. Like those are the two that literally first pop up in my head because of all the adversities that they've been through, and they have stayed consistent because they from the get said, this is what I'm gonna do. Yeah. And they have fucking, again, stood on business, and they have done it. And I've known these, I think Jafrazy called it out yesterday. She was like, we've known each other for 24 years. I was like, get the fuck out of here. That's fucking crazy. 24 years. That's crazy. And then with Jen, it's pretty much has been the same. So I met Jen at my first job in the banking world. This was when there was Commerce. Commerce Bank.
Fun fact, Cindy and I both worked at Commerce. Not the same one.
Yeah, and mine was very short-lived. And then I hopped over into Victoria's Secret and then left to Iraq. But with Jen, like everything that this woman says that she's gonna do, and she'll be like X, Y, Z. And one of the things for me that always sticks out with Jen and also Jeffrey, like they're both very mindful of their finances. So that for me has been influential. Like I'm like, what would Jeffrey do? What would Jen do? Like, because the way that they manage their money and their hard-earned money. I remember like Jen being in college. She was like, before she graduated, she was like, oh, I'm done paying my student loans. I was like, damn, because she knew, she was like, I'm not leaving this fucking campus with $1 owed to nobody. And she freaking did that. And then she, you know, when I remember when she had her car, she was like, nope, I'm not gonna go get another car. I think now is that she has like her luxury vehicle. Yeah. You know, and then what she would say, she was like, I'm gonna find this guy, then we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. And she has been very, again, these, and it goes back to their boundaries. Yeah. They have drawn that line, like, of this is my boundaries. Yeah. You cross it, bye. But they're even just their own personal boundaries. They have been so respectful of themselves, and it's just so beautiful to see. And again, beautiful. There's so many women, and I know if you're listening, you're probably like, Cindy, you ain't mentioning me. Trust me, I am thinking of you, always thinking of you. And even another very, very, very best friend of mine, my best friend Sharman. This woman, I feel like life has thrown her so many curveballs since the day I met her at the fresh age of 16 years old. And again, this is another woman that has been by my side through thick and thin. And even now, it's just like, I feel like now is when she's finally able to like tread water, you know, because her head has been underwater for a minute, but she has not let that stop her. You know, and she has had goals from the very beginning, but then again, life just kept lifing. Yeah. And God was not guiding for her. Yeah. But now God is guiding, and God is like, nah, you needed to go through all that stuff. And the fact that she could sit here and be resilient and also transparent about her journey and her story. And that's another thing too. Like these women that are part of my again, that influential group of mine, they have always been transparent. 100% transparent. They have like not sugarcoated shit. I remember even with Jen last year when I was sharing, being very vulnerable about my finances, she was literally like, she gave me that tough love, and I was just like, at first I was like, eat, because even our other two friends that were listening to they were like, ooh, it was like a sour punch. But she was like, you fucked up. You fucked up. And I was just like, damn, sis, you right. And the thing is, that's me. That's how I would address my friends too. Like, yo, you fucked up.
Yeah.
Like that was 100% your fault.
Yeah.
And again, they have held me accountable. And that's huge. And those are all part of, again, having those strong female relationships. It's not just, oh yeah, let's go party, let's go do this, let's hang out, let's do a beautiful brunch. But nah, like it goes deep. Like there's layers and layers and layers and layers. So many. And again, the fact that we, like, again, some of these girls, I don't talk to them every single day.
And you don't need to.
Right. And then the thing is, like, we understand that. Like, and again, my friend Jen now has moved out the state. It's been a few years of that. And we're still finding the time to keep our traditions too. Because that's another thing too. Like I have built traditions in all my different group friends. And it's been nice to see the consistency of it. Mm-hmm. And again, stuff that we have something to look forward to. Again, now, we know we're getting married, we're having kids, we're moving out of state, we're going to different like job ventures and this and that. But we still make that time to be there for each other. And that, to me, like everything that I have, like all these character traits and things that I have listed are for me, like, again, who influences me in my life. And this is like, again, in my friend circle. And then of course, my sister. And it's crazy because she's my younger sister. And you would think that I'm the one that's an influence on her, which I'm sure she has her, you know, her own stories of how she feels about me, if I'm an influence or not. But for her, it's definitely been the confidence side of it. And again, she's always the one who knows first about like eyebrow pencils, mascara, like eyeliner, all those things. And I'm like, oh, I think I could do that. Or like, I remember even like she put me on like onto like this curling like wand thing. Cause like I could never do the curls with the flat iron. Like that's just not a thing, not a skill that I have mastered or have yet to practice and master. I was like, I'll just pay somebody to do it. I don't want to learn it myself. But again, even with that curling wand, which is like what I used yesterday. So every time I'm using that, like obviously I think of her and I'm like, oh my God, Carolyn has taught me so many things that have helped me feel more confident about myself. Because again, she's also more like, of course, I feel like I'm sexy in my own way. I have my own sex appeal in my own way, but she like exudes that. And in everything that she does, like her attire and all stuff, I was just like, you know, she has her own style. And I'm like, yeah, it's not really mine. Because sometimes she'd be like, yo, you looking more like on the grandma side. Like she texted me for that. And I'm like, I got that, girl, but this is also like, this is what I like. Yeah. You know, I was like, I know you like, you would never wear something like this. And sometimes I would never wear stuff that you wear, but we understand that. And again, having that communication and again, the accountability, but she's like, but you look so much better in this. You know? So I have also like given into that, or, you know, even like the sharing of outfits. I'm never one to like, oh, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? I'm like, if this is what I want to wear, this is what I'm going to freaking wear. Yeah. But with her, like if I'm like debating between anything, then I'll send it to her. Like, I need your honest opinion on this. Because again, I know she'll be like, nah, girl, nah, don't do that. So yeah. And then of course my mother, and I would say initially that wouldn't have been like the first person, if I'm being completely honest, because of all the differences that we have had, more so like me in my like preteen years, in my teenage years, and like my fresh early 20s. Definitely a bunch of rough patches and a lot of head bumping. But since becoming a mother, I have been able to give her all the grace she needs, even though it's still been a work in progress. But just everything. Of course, there's a lot of things that I'm like, okay, I don't want to emulate none of that. Yeah. But there's a lot of things that I do want to emulate. Even, you know, a lot of advice that she has given me overall with friendships, relationships, work, this, that. And I'm very stubborn when it comes to her and the advice that she gives me, because I'm like, nah, I'm gonna do that shit myself. Like, you haven't done that. Why am I gonna take advice from you? Mm-hmm. But obviously, again, now becoming a mother, she's coming with that mother intuition that she's like, even though I haven't done that, this is what I'm like, what my gut is telling me that you should be doing. Mm. So I'm like, again, just that mindset change. Mm-hmm. Because the way I was receiving her in the past, I'm receiving her completely different now. So I'm also proud of myself for that, because that took a lot of work and it's still continuous work. But me, I guess like putting, I guess like that ego and that pride to the side has helped me build a stronger bond with her. And now it's crazy because even when I was at Caleb's karate class the other day, the mom that I met there, we were just chit chatting, and like she's telling me about, she opened up to me about like just her relationship like with her mom and her sisters, and I was like, listen, can I give you some sound advice? And I'm only telling you this because like I'm going through this right now.
Mm.
And when I shared stuff with her, she was like, wow, I didn't even think about it that way. And I was like, but in her situation is obviously everybody's situation is completely different, but hers is like completely different than exactly like what I'm going through with my mom. But she was like, I'm going to try that. I was like, just try. I was like, that's all we can do. And especially when it comes to our parents. Mm-hmm. And again, like you said, as we're unpeeling all those layers and just all the raw stuff that comes up and all the stuff that we have to process and cry about, be angry about, be upset about. But once we can process those feelings, I feel like, again, with me, I'm able to see my mom in a different light. And again, even digging deeper and like learning more, like I spoke in the episode with my sister about learning more about my grandma's story. Because I'm like, this is my maternal grandma, who is my only grandparent still alive. What can I learn from her through her story? And it's not her sharing her story. It's just more my mom's story, telling it from my mother's perspective of everything that she knew from my grandma's past before my mom was born. So just learning that, which was recent, like literally it was like a week and a half ago or maybe 2 weeks ago that I learned this shit. And I was just like, okay, now that like it makes sense. Okay. And again, you know, you just look at these women in your life a little bit different when you know their story. And again, everyone has a story of why they're behaving that way. Like, I don't think we are all nasty bitches. It's just like, unfortunately, we're either going through things right in the moment, or we just are carrying so much trauma from the past that we haven't processed, that makes us like unapproachable or not wanting to be, you know, again, that whole trusting. Oh, I don't want to share my story because the last time I shared my story, I got burned for it. But somebody needs to hear your freaking story. I promise you, somebody today needs to hear your story again. And also, and this is going to social media, like sharing your stories on there and your vulnerability on there. You also, again, have to post that with a prayer. Like this, how I say I always post it with a prayer. I'm like, people are going to have their opinions, but if your story helped one person, then girl, you made all the difference. And this is how, like, you know, when I'm sharing my stuff, and even when I was sharing about like mammograms and all that stuff, like on stories, a lot of people were like, okay, like, yeah, you're right. Like, I need to go get this. I need to go get that. Like, this is, thank you for the reminder.
Yeah.
And sometimes, again, you don't know, and it could be something so stupid, like even like Caleb's jean jacket story that I posted on Friday. So many people responded to that. And I didn't think I was just posting it just to say like, hey, this is also for me to fucking remember on Monday to ask for his freaking jean jacket. A lot of people were like, oh, like, do you have a system where you could like text the teacher, this and that? And I'm like, no, the school doesn't have that specific system, but I can email and do that. And again, just those conversations that just easily flow, those just genuine conversations from something that you thought was stupid to share. And again, with that, you're also bonding and building relationships online. Ain't that crazy?
And it's crazy because the people that are in your life, sometimes strangers end up being the ones who you either learn something from, or that really needed to hear what you had to say.
Like our podcast. Like I know we are helping women every single day. And again, that could just be one woman. It could be one woman these past 4 seasons. So
that's fine. And this is for you.
Right. This is for you, girl. And we want to say, you know, thank you. Thank you for listening. And also all the feedback that we get, we absolutely enjoy it. And again, it's a reassurance that what we're doing is worth it.
Yeah.
And I always say, I was like, it can or it may not. It could take freaking years, but I know we're doing something. And again, even if it stays like this, we continue building in our community. I love it. Like it makes me happy. It fills my cup. This fills my cup.
It fills mine too.
anything out, like any other woman that popped up in your head, even let's say like historically, like history wise, women that have made history that necessarily have not become celebrities?
I mean, for me, I mean, we're talking about people in our lives. Well, I mean, my maternal grandmother is not here. She hasn't been here for quite some time, but she was a force to be reckoned with. She was so tiny, like little tiny little lady. But that lady she packed the punch. Yeah, she was the matriarch of our family. And it's so crazy because she would come to the US for 3 to 6 months, and then we would go to Morocco for 3 months. So I would see her like all the time. But she was just incredible. Like, I mean, you know how they always say like grandparents are different parents from your actual parents.
Yes.
I'm assuming that that's how it was, but for me, it was great because like I got to see her a lot and be with her a lot, and like, you know, that's really why I speak Moroccan very well, because that was the only way I could speak to her. So that's how I learned how to speak to her. And my dad's mom passed way before I was even born, so I never got to meet her.
How old were you when your grandma passed?
It was actually 2001.
Wow.
So she passed away 9/1/2001, and my mom got stuck in Morocco because she was there for 9/11.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was crazy. It was nuts. So, and my dad was working in the city at the time, and it was just me and my sisters here. And then I had to take Hannah to daycare, do all these things or whatever. And then I couldn't reach my dad.
Wow.
Because he was in New York.
Right.
And I couldn't reach my dad. Right. And then he got home and whatever, and we were like, oh my God, thank God. Because then I was like, my mom's in Morocco.
Like, what do I do?
I'm like, hello, this was many, many moons ago. Like, I was like,
right.
in what was it? Not even high school yet. I think it was in 7th grade or something like that. Whatever. But yeah, like that. I mean, my mom will always be an influential person for me because she's my mother. But you know, we've done some work to know the boundary to set, because even though she's my mom, like after having especially 3 kids, and she has 3, like I'm one of 3, so we're 3 and 3. I just look at how I am and how she was and everything. And, you know, she had no choice but to put work first, and always, because there was no choice. Right. There was no choice. And for me, I'm just like, well, with how I've done certain investments and certain things or whatever, like for me, working is not my priority. Like, I sounded like Kourtney Kardashian. It's just not my priority. Like,
and then what the kids say, I'm like, we gotta work.
Yeah, nobody wants to fucking work. And I'm like, well, actually, I do, but I would rather spend the time getting to know my children.
Yes,
being with them, seeing their growth, seeing what they like, also what they need from me. And we're different in a big way because of the kids being on the autism spectrum. So like having 2 kids on that, it's so different. And the thing is, my mom had me with severe ADHD, did not understand that that's what I had, and just thought that I was being defiant, or I was just not understanding, or I was stupid, or like, you know, and it was just, no, it's just how my brain is wired. And I just couldn't like, and she would be like, you're good at this, but not at this. And why did it, like, and our parenting skills are completely different.
Yeah.
But one thing about her, and I'll always say it, my mom is the most resilient person I've ever met in my life. Like, this woman has had, I think, there's so many diabetic seizures I can't even count, but she gets up and goes to work, and she
doesn't become a victim to
no,
her.
She busts her out. Like, she's a victim to us because she's always like, oh my God,
she needs somebody to.
I'm like, where's the tiny violin? Like, I'm sick of the same fucking story. Go on a diet. Like, you know, yeah. But other than that, like she came to this country by herself, like, I mean, with my dad, but she did not know anybody but my dad's side of the family. You know, learn the language.
I was gonna say, did she know like any English when she got here?
Very little, but I mean, if you've spoken to my mom,
right,
like, you hear her. She speaks the language. She speaks French. She speaks a little bit of German. Like, she speaks Arabic and Moroccan. Like, and she has come a very long way. But everybody looks to her for everything because she's a doer. She gets shit done, and that's where I get it from, because I'm like a doer.
Yeah.
But my mom is also just a spender. And that's where I get that too. But we are setting that boundary. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I try to give her grace. It's just I had to grow up so fast. I had to learn and like take care of everyone. And I'm like, I'm tired. I just want someone to take care of me.
Right.
But then I'm like, you're doing it wrong. So like when my mom even tries, she's like, let me do this for you. I'm like, no, because you're not going to do it the way that I want.
See, and that's your next, once you get over that hunch, and I know we spoke about this because, girl, I know because, and again, I felt like I learned it pretty fast. And again, I felt like also just God threw that, again, curveball with Caleb, you know, being 8 days old, and me really just having to let go of that hold, and this is the way things need to get done, and no, and this, and you know, like I wanted to have a schedule and a routine for him, and it to be so, again, like militant, and no, life and God was like, no, sis, I'm gonna need you to calm the fuck down, take a few steps back, several steps back, and let the village come in and help, and also do it in their way, because God was like, it ain't gonna be in your way, but they're there to genuinely help. So once I saw it that way, I was just like, I can go lay down, and I would like go lay down very carelessly, like, now, oh my God, like, are you gonna feed them? Like they just knew, and I just kind of, again, but I was getting in that mindset while pregnant. Again, I don't know if it was just the pandemic that I just had more time to just think. Because I didn't have to worry about commuting to work and then dealing with people in person. Like everything was just right here on the computer, this and that. And I was able to sit there and just think and process and like listen to Instagram reels or whatever. I was like, was there reels back then? I don't know. Right? When did the reels start? But just, again, all the moms that I was following and all the sound life and parenting advice that they were giving, that it was coming from a very genuine place. I was like, oh, okay.
It's crazy because so with Caleb, so you know, Alina was hospitalized for 2 weeks when she got COVID, before it was COVID, and she was 15 months old, and there was just too many people giving me their advice.
Gotcha.
For me. And I was very like, the doctors just know, the doctors know, because that's the mentality that the doctors know, the doctors know, the doctors know. And I had to really set the barrier, like the boundary. And I'm like, get the fuck out of this room. I'm going to stay here with my daughter and we're going to figure this out. I need everybody to leave.
Yeah.
And I was caring for everyone around me because my cousin had just passed. So like my aunt was just not helping. So she was showing up and crying nonstop. And then I'm like, everybody go. I was like, go home and fucking cry, because I don't need that energy of that grief to come over here, because my child is going through this. And to see her so little, 15 months, not talking, not anything, couldn't walk, couldn't do anything. Like she was just like, it was the worst time of my life.
Yeah.
And to have so much, like so many people, I was like, at that point, I was my own superhero, because I sat there and I was like, I put my foot down. And I was like, you're not intubating my child. You're not doing this. You're doing this. I was like, this has to be done. I literally took her into the bathroom and gave her like a bath. And I was like, okay, you're going to feel better after this. You're going to feel better. And I'm like, Mama, you're going to feel so much better. And I kept playing with her, putting her music on. And the next day, out of nowhere, went into recovery, and then Ollie came in, and then I was like, another fucking week in here. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
And then at that point, I was like, I almost spent a month in this PICU room.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know I smell. I don't fucking care. I was like, I was taking a horse bath. I was just like, to make sure all this is clean. And I'm like, no, I am my own motherfucking superhero. And my mom, I was like, you need to shut the hell up and you need to get the hell out of this room. I was like, everybody needs to fucking leave. Go grieve, whatever the hell you need to do. Go do it in your own house. I need to do this by myself. And then they were just like, Nora never speaks to us like that. And I was like, well, Nora's speaking to you like this right now because it's my child. I'm like, I'm done tiptoeing around you people. It's my child. And after that, it's been, these are my kids. I make the choice. My husband and I make these decisions. And thank you for your 2 cents, but go fuck yourself. Because
I 100% I get that. And I guess with me, the pandemic, it was more everybody texting, and everybody thought that it was COVID that Caleb had gotten, because I was allowing people to visit my house. And I was just like, no, it was completely not that. So I get that. But again, for me, it was very early on that I set that tone. I mean, because I was like, you saying him at Alina 15 months, imagine. He was really, and they had him like in a whole, and no, it wasn't a crib. It was like a regular bed with the things up. I guess because of COVID. I don't know what it was. Maybe they were out of those beds, but it was like a little like burrito on an adult size like bed. Yeah, it was bad.
But we are each other's
influential.
Right.
I was gonna say duh. You're an influential woman. Hello.
All right. Well, till next episode.
Yes, we love you guys.
And don't forget to get your tickets.
Get your tickets to Migas, building her dreams. Let's go.
It'll be in the show notes.
Yes.
All right.
Love you guys. Thank you. As always, sponsored by the Migas.